Ah, another guest. So good of you to come.
Hi everyone, how are y'all doing? I hope everyone is doing well. I know that this is the season where everyone is getting sick. I know that our family is just now starting to get better, but I'm seriously hoping that we don't have a round two because it seems like sore throats is the new thing for this season. I have some baking for you guys in this video. I know everyone is waiting on the balloons. You guys are going to have to wait. I'm trying to do this in chronological order because that is the process of throwing a party together. So this is going to be mainly just baking and cooking and some odds and ends to finish up this party. I hope that you guys enjoy this video. So on this day, it was Sunday, and I was prepping everything that I needed to get started on baking, like my icing, my royal icing. I was baking cakes and all that good stuff. Also, I had to color my icings as well and just prep so that when I go to bake, it's a lot easier and I don't have to do all that stuff. And yeah, so anyway, I hope that you guys enjoy this video. Let's go ahead and get started on this long week ahead of me. Okay, so this is everything that I got done today. I got my brownie mix for my cake pops. Not my brownie mix, my gluten-free chocolate cake for the cake pops. I got one batch of red velvet cake for my little tiny cake that I'm making. A batch of royal icing that I've already divvied out into the colors that I want. If I need more colors, that's why I always keep white on hand. And I'm probably going to need gray, so I just made extra black, and I can always mix black in with some white to make gray, so there's no need for me to make a whole container of gray. And then I also made myself some buttercream. I always keep white, and I also made black for the outside. I was going to make some cream cheese frosting, but instead I used cream cheese jello pudding mix to give it that flavor, because one of my friends is lactose intolerant, and his favorite cake happens to be red velvet, but he could only eat it with vanilla buttercream. So I'm going to try and entice him with this cheesecake flavored buttercream. It's really good. It's really creamy, it's just so good. So I say that I did a job well done for the day, and it sets me up for tomorrow. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hi guys! How are you guys doing today? I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day, because today I'm in a really good mood. For one, because I got some pretty good sleep, and for two, I get the house to myself. I'm feeling confident that I'm going to be able to get some good things done today. I already picked out what I'm going to do for my cookies this year. I'm going to keep it simple, but I still want them to be cute. And surprisingly, I was not able to get a whole lot of inspiration off of Pinterest or Google this year. I don't know what's going on this year. It's like nobody is motivated or inspired. There's hardly anything on the shelves for us to choose from. There's hardly any new techniques or new designs on Pinterest and Google, so I'm basically just winging it. But I went through all of my cookie cutters from last year and all the cookie cutters that I've collected along the way, and I've decided to keep it somewhat simple. I'm still not the biggest or bestest cookie decorator there is out there, so I'm just going to keep them simple. So I picked out 3 different types of pumpkins. This is actually an apple, but I'm going to turn it into a pumpkin, a ghost, a friendly one, and a skull. Going to try to make that cutesy. This is going to be my cutesy cookies. I picked out my black and whites like I did last year. I have a cat, bat, a coffin, and this is going to be a skeleton. And then this is my Haunted Mansion collection. So I have a ghost, a tombstone, a skull, Haunted Mansion, and a coffin. I was going to do a large Haunted Mansion cookie that I have in my Christmas collection, but I decided not to because I don't want to overdo it. And then for each one of these themes, I'm going to have one plaque cookie that says either Happy Halloween or Trick or Treat, something fun Maybe I'll put the trick or treat here, and I'll put Happy Halloween here, and I don't know what I'm gonna do for that one yet. Maybe Boo or something. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but it's gonna come out to 32 cookies. So I'm pretty much doing like 2 or 3 of each cookie. And typically I don't make extras, but I am going to be cutting out the entire batch of cookie dough. I don't know how many I'm gonna get, but whatever I get out of that one batch of cookie dough is how many cookies I'm gonna serve. Unfortunately, something did happen while I was making my dough. For some reason, the eggs curdled in my sugar mixture, which is not normal, so I'm not really sure what happened there. But like I've said many times, my cookie dough is a no-fail recipe, so even if you mess up, and even if they don't come out perfect, they're still gonna taste really good. Just use it, it's gonna be fine. While my cookies are baking up, I decided to get started on these skull candles. I bought these last year and I never got to use them. So I have my chocolate here. I added a few pumps of sprays of this oil in there just to kind of make it a little bit more lucid. I'm just gonna pour like half of this chocolate in here, and I'm gonna just move it around to coat the inside of the mold all the way. And I want to get it as far down as possible, and I want it to get in all of the grooves. So I'm just going to do the second one, and then I'm going to pop these into the freezer. Okay, so I melted some red chocolate candy melts. I'm not going to fill up the entire thing. I just want to fill just like the bottom part of the skull. I'm just gonna tap it down. Okay, so now that I got the bottom of my skulls filled up, I'm gonna put them back in the freezer, and I'm gonna let them sit in there for about 15 minutes. I'm just gonna top off these skulls. Of course, tap them down, make sure they get evenly incorporated. I'm gonna put it in the freezer for like at least an hour, and then I'll pull it out and let it sit before I actually take it out of the molds. Meanwhile, I wanted to get started on flooding my cookies. My objective on this day was to flood all of my cookies so that they can dry overnight and I can be ready to decorate them the next day. I did bake off all of my cookies in single batches in my countertop oven because I was trying to save some propane, and also I wanted to be able to do as many things as I could in this day so that it was a lot easier throughout the week to get everything that I needed to get done. My royal icing did come out perfect this time. The consistency was amazing, and I was able to outline and flood my cookies. But I did have a little bit of a hard time trying these new techniques. I'm still kind of new to this kind of thing where you kind of do like an underlay of a drier consistency of royal icing, and then you go over your cookie with your flooding royal icing to kind of give it like a 3D effect. But it is difficult. Like for instance, on these skull sugar cookies, you could see the black underneath after outlining and flooding the cookie, but either way, I still really like the way these turned out. However, my pumpkin cookies, those ones are by far the hardest ones to master. I don't know what it is about the pumpkin cookies, but they are just so difficult and give me the hardest time. So I think that next year I'm going to order some stencils to help me out when creating the faces on this 3D cookie. Well, I made it, and I think that I did pretty good. I mean, I still need to work on my pumpkins. I'm not the greatest at making jack-o'-lanterns, but these ones look cute. I like the white ones a lot. The orange and the black ones, I need more practice, but I think that they are an improvement from last year. I will say that. I really like them. I like the skulls too. I think they're imperfectly perfect, really cute. And these ones, they came out better too. I'm hoping that once I'm done with the Haunted Mansion ones, they're going to look pretty nice. But Yeah, I mean, obviously the coffins look pretty good, even though the cookies are misshapen. And these ones are probably by far my favorite, which my first batches are always my favorite. But I really like the progress that I made this year. I like what I did. And I can't wait to see how these are going to look all dressed up tomorrow. Okay, so I got 5 minutes until I have to go pick up my kids. So I want to see how these are going to come out. I tried to look up a video to see how to do this, and the only thing that I could find a video for was then using resin, but it came out perfect. And on the Amazon like listing, it shows that you can use it for chocolate. Did I do it? Did I do it? I did it! It's kind of cool because it has a crack like all around the back of the skull here, but it looks like the crown of a skull. All the teeth are intact, all the eyes are perfectly shaped. You can't see any of the red chocolate yet. Ooh, I love it. I love it. It looks so cool, but I don't want to handle it too much because it is chocolate. So let's see, maybe I shouldn't be too scared to do this one. Maybe I can manhandle it a little bit while being careful. Oh, there it goes. It looks cool. It's broken right here, but it's okay because I can hide that. Maybe I could try to figure out a way to glue it back together, that piece that's broken right there. Anyway, that's how they look. I'm not ready yet to do what I was planning on doing. I'm not going to do that until after I decorate the cake. All right, I will see you guys tomorrow. I am done for the day. You could definitely see a lot of flaws in them now that they're dry, but I think that I can work with them. I just got to be creative. So let's see what we can come up with. Still don't like my pumpkins no matter what I do. I'm really horrible about making pumpkins. But I will say that these cookies, they look really cute. I really like how those ones turned out. Those ones are pretty basic. They're okay though. I like them. I forgot I still have plat cookies to do, but I'm getting kind of tired and I need a break. So I'm going to do those later. And then these are supposed to be my black and whites, but I decided to do the neon instead. And then I have my haunted house mansion, or my haunted mansion collection. They're pretty basic too, but they're cute. I like this coffin the best. They're not perfect, but I like them. The haunted house could have been better, but I'm still learning, guys. I'm not a perfect cookie artist or anything like that. I'm learning. So what I'm going to be making is some cake pops. And so I pulled out my chocolate gluten-free cake from the freezer. I also went to Walmart and I picked up these cupcakes because this was the best deal. You could get a cake and do the same thing because I feel like you get a good amount, which this is 22 ounces for only $8. So I felt like this was the best bargain. So I'm going to take some help from the store to make my cakesicles, and I'm only making a few of them. So however many cakesicles I get out of these 12 cupcakes is going to be how many cakesicles that I make. But with my gluten chocolate-free cake, I'm going to be making eyeball cake pops. Okay, so I'm just going to mix up my cake pop dough in my KitchenAid. Right now I have some Ghirardelli white chocolate. This is the best. I also use these and I weigh them out individually on the scale to get exactly 33 grams each cake pop. I feel like that's the perfect size cake pop, and when you weigh them out, you're guaranteed that they're all going to be the same size. I did run into a little bit of a problem when I was making my gluten-free cake pop dough. I used a completely different brand this time that I've never used before. And so the cake itself was pretty greasy, and I didn't realize that until after I put in my icing to form my cake pop dough. And it was just a little bit too soft. And so I learned a trick where if you put some powdered sugar into your cake pop dough, it'll kind of like help the consistency of your cake pop dough so it's not too soft. But I was adding in so much icing sugar. I was like, I can't put any more in here, otherwise it's going to make my cake pops really sweet. So I just had to deal with it, and it was quite frustrating because as I was making my cake pops, I had to keep throwing them back into the freezer in between dipping, and because they were so cold, because usually I don't refrigerate or freeze my cake pops. I usually leave them at room temperature to set while the sticks are in the cake pops. Anyway, so they were cracking. And so I had to double dip them. So they were a bit chocolatey, and it was really frustrating. But they still ended up coming out just fine. They looked really cute on the table, and when we tasted them, they weren't so bad. So don't stress yourself out. Mistakes happen, things happen. Sometimes you can't control things that happen. Just try not to overstress yourself or overwhelm yourself. It's going to be fine in the long run, and no one's going to notice your mistakes unless you tell them. I am making great timing. I finished my cake skulls and my cake pops. I have all my cookies over here. I started packaging them yesterday. Or, I'm sorry, not yesterday, this morning. Just time is going by. But, yeah, I started packaging them this morning. So then I decided to wrap up my cake pops as well because I didn't want to put these in the refrigerator and I didn't want them to sit out and collect dust. Plus, I think that it just makes them look a lot more attractive. Morning, guys. Sorry if you could hear my dishwasher going. It's early in the morning and my son forgot to turn it on last night, so he put it on and I didn't think about it. So if you can hear it, I'm really sorry. But I do have a long day ahead of me, especially because today is minimum day. So I'm trying to get as an early start as possible. It is now 7:30 and I have until 1:40-ish before I have to go pick my kids up from the bus stop. So I'm gonna start with my cake. And this cake looks so soft and fluffy and moist. I'm not even gonna use simple syrup for this one, but I'm trying to get it as center on the board as possible so that when I go to ice it, there's not a whole lot of board showing. And I'm just going to fill and stack my cake. crumb coated my cake, I'm gonna put it in the refrigerator to set for like 30 minutes. I did patch up that piece of chocolate with some royal icing. Which one was it? This one. So I had some cracks here, so I just used some royal icing and I just kind of patched it back together and it worked like a charm. I have my handy dandy torch here. I want to try and burn a hole in here and see if the blood will squirt out and it'll drip. If not, then I'm going to use some chocolate to drip and make some pretty drip marks with. I also bought 2 different types of candles. I just got these from the Dollar Tree. I got them in these fake LED little candles, and I think they're both about the same size. So that's about how big it is. I'm hoping that I can get it to fit in there. I also bought some tea lights. I just want to see what would look better, if I should use real light or if I should use the fake one. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna play this out yet. I'm just messing around. This is my first time ever doing something like this, so I don't even know if it's gonna work, but let's find out. I don't know how good this is gonna work. I'm just gonna take off this chocolate piece here. It is melting underneath, so obviously you're not going to eat that part, but I want to see if I can melt it down underneath to get to that blood. I have to say, it's looking pretty cool. Ooh, I kind of like that. I have to get that chocolate to somewhat solidify before I could put that candle in, but I want to make it smooth. Unfortunately, the red drip didn't work like I planned, but that's okay. I have a backup plan. So there it is, turned on. That looks really cool. What do you guys think? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some drip effects. I have to melt some red chocolate first. Okay, so I have some red candy melts here, melted. I'm just going to do some drips all around the side. I think that looks pretty cool. What do you guys think? Okay, so I'm gonna let this completely cool down and dry, and then I'm gonna stick the candle in it and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so now that my creme coat has chilled and when you touch it and none of the icing is sticky, I'm gonna go ahead and go in with my second coat. So while I'm icing my cake, I figured I would share a quick story. So in 2013, my grandma passed away, and for her memorial, I really wanted to bring a really nice cake. And I wanted the cake to have calla lilies on it because that was her favorite flower. And I really liked the idea of an open book cake because I felt like it just fit the memorial theme. At the time, I knew a girl that baked cakes as a hobby. She was just getting started. I met her in college. And so I had hit her up and asked her, hey, can you make this cake for me? And she was going to charge me $65. And at the time, I was like struggling financially and I couldn't afford it. And so I just basically said, I'm sorry, I can't afford that. I regret now saying that because now that I know how much work goes into baking and decorating cakes, I wish that I would have just accepted the fact that like she would deserve that $65. But in any case, she was nice enough to say, hey, it's not that hard. You should just try and do it yourself. And I wasn't confident in myself. I was like, how am I going to make these calla lilies? But between her and another friend of mine, they convinced me that I could do it. And so I looked up on Google, and I think it was YouTube at the time. I figured out how to do it, and it wasn't perfect by any means. I mean, it was my first cake ever. But when I delivered the cake to her memorial, everyone was really happy and they thought it was beautiful. So essentially, that's what got me started on baking cakes. So I'm going to put this in the freezer and I'm going to let it sit in there for a good 30 minutes so that it gets really, really firm before I start decorating it. So here's what we're looking like. I did put the candle in there and I did put a border of chocolate around it and did like a second drip. This one I did burn the hole in a little bit deeper and I cleaned around the edge a little bit better just so that the candle will sit in there better. So I'm gonna sit the candle inside, and it actually sits in a little bit deeper and a little bit nicer, and then I'm gonna go around the drip. Okay, so my cake is set, so now I'm just gonna flip it over to reveal the beautiful top. Nice and flat, and the edges are nice and crisp.
And then I just decided to airbrush my cakes so that it was completely black.
I just want to make sure that the cake is nice and dark because I'm going for a dark look. That looks great.
I made my ganache using a half a bag of red candy melts and about a half a cup of hot heavy cream. The texture did come out a little bit runny, so next time to get the right consistency, I would probably use about 3/4 of a bag to a half a cup of heavy cream.
I'm just gonna let it do its thing, let it drip how it wants, and let it set. So I have these flowers, I got them from the Dollar Tree. I should have gotten them in black, but by the time I went back to go get flowers, they ran out of black, so I just got these red ones. So I'm just gonna work with what I got. So I'm gonna move those leaves all the way to the top so that I could stick my stem in there. And I'm gonna go towards the back, and I'm just gonna arrange these flowers to look like a little bouquet. And there you go. Looks nice, doesn't it? I love it. It's so simple, but it's so pretty. And you can take these off to light them up and stick it back in. And there you go. Put a tea light in there. You could light it up and you have a real candle. Tell me that that's not cute. Tell me you don't like that. I love it. So I'm about to make some deviled eggs. Actually, it's gonna be a process. I am making those deviled eggs that look like spider webs. So I've already put some eggs to boil. I'm waiting for them to cool down a little bit so that I can drain the water, and then I'm going to kind of crack them up, and then I'm gonna put them back into some cold water with some black food coloring, and I'm gonna let them sit up to overnight. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it tonight or tomorrow, where I'm gonna take all the shells off and then you know, make deviled eggs as normal. Okay, so real quick, I learned this trick when I was little. I learned how to make deviled eggs when I was in about 7th grade, and our teacher taught us a little trick to tell if an egg is boiled or if it's not boiled. These are still very hot. A unboiled egg won't really spin that well, but a boiled egg will. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that trick before, but that's how you could tell that it's boiled. And I'm making my way. I'm so excited. You guys have no idea. You guys, the day just got started, and I'm already exhausted because I have a whole list of things that I need to do before Daniel comes over today to help me with the balloon arch, which is going to be in a separate video. Because as I was transferring all of my footage over to my computer and I got it into Movavi to optimize my footage for what I have right now, I already have over 6 hours of footage, which means I'm gonna have to do a lot of cutting out. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. It's definitely gonna be a challenge, but it is gonna get done, and yeah, it's gonna be great. But I have so much going on today, and okay, so listen up. You ready for this? I gotta spatchcock my chickens. I got 2 of them.
Now you want to do a whole separate party first? You have no choice but to go potty on the.
I have to boil my chicken legs and my thighs for my mole sauce. I gotta fry up bacon for my deviled eggs, and I have to make my deviled eggs.
It's 2, what I'm filming on. Yes, the camera store, Precision Camera. And like, let's go to my girl trip to Miami. She's the boys now. And
I have to make my stuffing for my bacon wrapped jalapenos and wrap them and get them ready to be baked off tomorrow. I gotta make my chili rojo sauce, which I already have my chilies boiling on the stove right now, and that chili rojo sauce is gonna be for my pozole. So I gotta get my pozole started, which I gotta cut up all of my pork meat and get that ready to go. I also got to cut up my beef, and I gotta get that browned up and get that simmering so that my birria is ready for tomorrow. I gotta chop up potatoes and make mashed potatoes. I gotta make 2 different types of salsas. I gotta mash up my beans, which I already got my beans boiled and ready to go. I gotta cut up some limes and some lemons for my birria tacos and some onions and cilantro also for my birria tacos. And I'm sure there's more that I gotta do that I forgot to write down on the list, but I definitely have my work cut out for me today. And then I got some balloons to fill, so there's a lot to do today. I only have today to get that done because tomorrow I don't wanna have to really do much of anything. So let's get this party started. Hi guys, oh my gosh, I am so tired, but it is party time and we got everything finally up. I wish that I could do a more personalized tour of the house, but I was only able to get Danielle to do a tour and it looks incredible. I can't wait for everyone to start showing up. Danielle, you want to come and say hi?
Miss Little, what's it called?
Zebra?
Yes, zebra.
Hello. So I'm just gonna end the video here. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, and I'll see you guys in part 3 with the balloon inflating and popping. Cheers! Bye!
Come one step closer, and I'll take your soul.